T-Man 978 Chill Review.
Hello everyone, T-Man 978. Right now I'm going to be doing a recap of Wave 1 of Transformers Studio Series. I'm going to be talking about all 10 of these people. Yes, 10. Scorponok's a person too. Anyway, let's get to it. Getting all these folks on camera at once is difficult, but Bumblebee is the shortest, next Stinger, then Crowbar, and then Ratchet, slightly taller than Crowbar. Of course, he is the absolute smallest. But now to the Voyager and leaders. You see Optimus is the shortest Voyager compared to Starscream and Thundercracker here. And then we have Blackout right here with Grimlock being the absolute tallest. And I should mention that I have everybody with their legs fully extended. Unextended, you know that Blackout and Starscream are closer to these guys' height. I hate making lists, but I know people like lists, so I'm gonna try. Lowest guy on the list as far as an action figure is this guy, Scorponok. He doesn't do anything, he is more of what he basically is, an accessory than anything else. After him, and unfortunately for any kid who gets this, it's Bumblebee. He is not worth the $20 at all. See all that stuff right there? He does not click together. Like, this ankle does not snap into place. This doesn't snap into place. It's not very much fun moving him around and manipulating him because he feels completely fragile, like you're gonna break it because it's made out of such thin plastic. It had potential. It got a lot of engineering going into it. His hand is stored right there if you didn't watch the review. So you watch the review if you want an explanation for that. But anywho, it has a decent amount of paint and whatnot and a decent amount of engineering, but it doesn't have the plastic quality and consistency to back that up. I didn't compare him to other deluxe Bumblebees. Like, this is from Age of Extinction. He has better plastic, amazingly, even though they started cheapening things back then. Like, he doesn't have rotating wrist and whatnot, but he has better plastic. And he feels less fragile than this one. Well, there we are with that one. And I didn't compare him, I don't believe, in any other video that I compared him to Battle Blade's Bumblebee, who was also a freaking deluxe class figure. He is Battle Blade's Bumblebee. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think it aged well. He doesn't. He has a lot of issues himself. Really close in the not worth it space is Stinger. I like him a little bit more than Bumblebee. I didn't do this comparison either, since they're supposed to be cloned or modeled after each other. These are differences. This back thing is more accurate. The legs probably are more accurate here. I'm not sure. I don't like these feet. The feet are weird over there. So I like the way this does things better than that. But what gives Stinger an edge up? Thank you, True Starscreamer, for giving me this idea. I don't even put that head on. That's the first time that head's been on him since I got this idea to give him Knockout right here. And ever since then, it's given him a new lease on life. And that little face upgrade, or head upgrade, head swap, you don't have to do anything special to swap that head. That gave him a new lease on life and gave him more personality. And these little black things, they fall off way easy. It doesn't matter if you plug them in on the front or plug them in from the back. They fall off really easy. But this face has a lot of personality, and it even made this gun more interesting. And for my full review of this guy, Stinger, I had this incorrectly transformed like that. You're supposed to rotate it like this. So now I've been able to correct that. But if you got a knockout head laying around, I suggest swapping to make this toy interesting, unless you are good at painting faces, because this barely painted red plastic right there sucked. It's not looking good for the deluxe classes because they're all on the bottom of the list. Ratchet had a ton of potential. It has a bunch of good articulation. It only needed wrist rotation and a ball jointed neck and waist rotation, and this thing would have been stellar, to be honest. Other shortcomings is this kibble. This is the main shortcoming. It's like, why did they do this? Like I explained in the video, this could have been transformed completely different to not even look like that. It's just a shame that they did that. And he didn't come with his gun. Like, this saw blade is so specific to like one scene in the whole daggone movie. It's like you can work with it for certain pictures, but I would have rather him come with a gun. That would have been way more interesting. But other than the things that I mentioned, he does look good. He does pose well, but he could have been way more poseable. And he could have had that gun, and he would have been awesome. Now here's the shame. Crowbar is my favorite of the deluxes, but you know he is going to be a shelf warmer. He's already shelf warming right up there with Berserker because they are the same mold. But I actually had the most fun with him out of anybody because of his posability. Like his legs or hips being able to come up so high, him having ab crunch. He has these weapons right there, and his head is very poseable. He's super poseable compared to the other guys. Only thing he's missing is ankle pivot and waist rotation. Other than that, he is spectacular as far as posability, and I am a posability nut. So it's unfortunate that he's going to be shelf warming and blocking up things as far as getting new waves on the shelf. So my suggestion is getting him and Berserker, to be honest. Berserker you don't even have to pay full price for. He's awesome to me. One thing I didn't explain, or I need to explain when I make my top 10 list, it's based upon not what the figure like kind of looks like and whatnot. It's mostly what they can do. Which toy I have the most fun messing with. And these two leader class, which cost the most, are not at the top of my list. Now, both of them have qualities that are almost masterpiece level. But then you have things like the fact that he does not have wrist rotation, meaning every pose you put him in, Blackout, they just don't look right because his hands are like permanently like paddles off to the side. They gave him the ability to open up. Instead of that ability to open up and have a thumb like this, I would have much rather a rotating wrist joint. I mean, that's a waste to be able to open up if your hand can only be like this at all times. It just is frustrating. And Grimlock has a ton of good looking paint and whatnot, mostly all over his body. Certain areas like the feet and this bald mace right there didn't get any of that paint, so that's kind of boring. But both of these I played with the least, at least in this mode right here, because they aren't very... He's definitely the most stiff looking of everything. I mean, that pose is like kind of decent or whatever. And yes, I do know about the upgrade kits. Maybe with that upgrade stuff he will be better, because I know they're gonna have the dynamic hand. But it's kind of hard for me to choose which one I like more. But I'll just lump them together. I'm sorry, I'm copping out. He has excellent legs. Everything from the waist down, excellent. He doesn't have waist rotation. These arms are decent, but if he had wrist rotation, he probably would have been one of my top figures, or my top figure, period. But that lack of wrist rotation to knock them out. Grimlock has waist and all the articulation you would want besides in this hand, because it doesn't articulate at all because it's just a mace. Like, he does have this right here, so he's on the lines of another guy I'm going to talk about after them. But I can't decide on who I like more. As far as who I've played with the most, out of these three right here. I'm gonna give Optimus a lower score than the other two. Optimus has everything you would want as far as an action figure. He has the waist. He has the head that can look up and down and rotate. Bicep swivel, even rotating wrists. They don't often give Transformers rotating wrists. And he has actual real foot ankle articulation. Like, this isn't a ball joint. It's actually a dual hinge type situation. So they purposely gave him ankle pivot. So that's awesome. Plus, like a thigh rotation and whatnot. So everything you would want to make him a good action figure. But what they didn't do for me is they didn't give him a gun. If they would have gave him a gun or two guns like he had in that one scene in Revenge of the Fallen, he wasn't just popular for just having these two swords. But if he would have had the two guns, that would have been awesome. Another thing I don't like about him is the way the back came out. All the engineering went into giving him his articulation, and then they just left that as it is. So everybody bends it like this to make that a little bit better. But he's still a good action figure, and he's kind of short compared to older Voyager class figures. I think he should have had better, thicker plastic, and they could have definitely, since they didn't give us the better, thicker plastic, they could have used that extra plastic that they didn't use on him to give us the two guns. I mean, come on. They were being cheap right there, to be honest with you. You know what? And then it's going to be Thundercracker. Outside of the number one guy who you know who is going to be number one, Thundercracker, I've had a lot of fun posing him alongside Starscream. He has a ton of cool details. And even though this weird face doesn't say Thundercracker to me, it says some sort of Beast Wars Bayverse hybrid. I like him the most. I like his colors. I like what I did with these wings, and a lot of people said that in my comments. And I've had the most fun messing around with him. Besides Starscream. Starscream is frickin', I love him. Like, he is super close to being like his leader class counterpart from Hunt for the Decepticons. He has a ton of articulation in these arms, and they gave him the wrist rotation. That's what I wanted in that leader class figure. Plus, he can even make the wrist come in. So it's like, and he can do this. The leader class version can't do this with the hips. So it's easier to even get him into certain poses, which is cool. I love the way the gun weapon connects to his hand, or you can put it on the back of his forearms. Now, I've recently seen, because somebody pointed this out, that he was supposed to come with a little saw blade weapon as well that looked like it actually rotated. So they kind of gypped us, or they're going to give us that with the repaint, the Revenge of the Fallen tattoo repaint. So, yeah, I wonder if they're going to give us both weapons or just that saw, but I know it's coming. So now that I've done all that, I'm going to show you all of them in their vehicle modes. 2 hours and 2 episodes of the toys that made us later. We have this. I didn't transform Optimus yet because I wanted to show that scale right there. So you can see that, yeah, Grimlock probably should have been significantly bigger so he can be in scale with these guys. Yeah, his robot mode I think is too short, which I didn't bring up in the previous segment. And yeah, I think his dinosaur mode should be definitely bigger because Optimus wasn't that big on his back. But anywho, watching that series, The Toys That Made Us, I found out I was born the same year as this guy right here on screen. But anywho, of course this guy, this is his transformation. Just his tail bent over him and his claws in front of his face. If Grimlock is in scale with anything, it's probably Starscream and Blackout. And I don't know, I don't think these guys, I didn't shove this, I don't believe, in Thundercracker's review. Looking at the cockpits, he should be smaller to match up with him. But I don't know, maybe Starscream and Blackout match up? I'll allow it, I'll allow that, but none of the jets or the dinosaur, or maybe, I don't, maybe if depending on how big a dinosaur Grimlock is really supposed to be, maybe he is in scale with these cars. I'm not sure. I think on Jurassic Park, the SUV or the Jeep riding away from the T-Rex was about that size. So maybe that's accurate. But getting off of scale, and I guess I had to transform Optimus, don't I, for comparison's sake. Hold on. Yeah, okay, here we go with Optimus. There's Optimus there. He's too big. Way too big. He should be like down there somewhere. But he's too small for these guys. Maybe Ratchet would be a good scale for him. But these cars definitely too big. But I do like the scale between him and Grimlock in this mode right here. And if you remember my video for Blackout, I compared him to the leader class Optimus Prime. He is Blackout is now significantly bigger than this Optimus, but Optimus should probably still be smaller. Fun factor, the cars, they are what they are. This guy suffers because it is very difficult to get these panels lined up. I'm able to do it, but I hear a bunch of people can't. And he has like friggin' robot kibble just completely visible. You see his feet right there hanging out. Like, you have to forcibly tuck those dreads under there, which is not fun for people. And the weapon storage is not the most ideal weapon storage with it being out there. Ratchet's good. He has visible hands down here and a visible head right there. But other than that, it's a decent car or ambulance. Bumblebee, I actually like in this mode. Some of the yellows don't match, like the doors are a different shade of yellow than anything else on here, which is unfortunate. And he has a ton of panels that don't like to click into place. And these things are very thin and finicky. But I still like them. And I'll definitely like Stinger. Stinger comes together the best out of all of them. Looks like this on the bottom. But yeah, there you go. Blackout. This is the first time I've transformed this guy in like friggin' like six or so times. This is the first time I got his panels to line up on that side. And this side, they are very horrible. He is good. He doesn't get bad until you look at him from right here. Now, you shouldn't be looking underneath of a transformer, but this is a flying transformer. Under the bottom, he is just a mess. But it's bad or unfortunate that they couldn't close this off. So there you go with that. And he has visible robot head right there. Thundercracker is good and fun, and I like that he has the Titan Master compatibility and Prime Master compatibility right there. You can put one of them right inside. He is decent from the top. Under the bottom is just like any other Transformers jet, where it's clearly a robot smashed up under here. But the colors are so dark and whatnot. If you didn't know what a Transformer was, you'd be wondering what the heck is all that. But it could pass as like a flying vehicle. Optimus is good. It's difficult getting some of these panels together. I wish that his smokestacks were longer, and oh boy. And here's the problem with friction-based connections. Transformers are almost like daggone Legos now, because they don't want to use screws and they don't want to use pins to make the things lighter. But Mostly I just wish he had bigger smokestacks. But other than that, he's pretty much perfect, and I like the weapon storage. Grimlock suffers the most because of the way they design him, where he's like hollow and whatnot. You can see through his body. Like this rib detail doesn't carry over here because they were going for the robot mode accuracy more than the dinosaur mode. The tail looks a mess. One thing I was discovering tonight is that I could squeeze this and push it up under there, which may bend those a bit, but it does push up under there more flushly, which might help people. But like I said, they're coming out with that upgrade kit, which will make things better. And when you shut his mouth, he has a goofy overbite. I mentioned that in his review. Open, it looks alright, but he has awesome paint. The eyes are popping right out at you. That looks awesome. But they had to make a few compromises. My favorite, again, is Starscream. I like the landing gear. I like the sleek design and colors of this jet. And this is like one of the first toys in a long time as an adult that I like. When I pick it up, I just have to fly it around because it just looks so sleek and so perfect. He is definitely the standout of this whole wave to me. Like all opposability in robot mode and the accuracy of this jet mode, at least this way. He's kind of a mess too under here, but he is just perfect to me. I really like this. I know I gave these guys like a certain rating, but Starscream and Optimus, the two Voyager class figures, you can't really go wrong with these. I mean, they both have a ton of posability, and they solidly become what they're supposed to become in their vehicle mode. So there you are. I know that might contradict what I gave my robot mode ratings, but things can change while you're sitting here thinking about it. And like I said, this is almost like a forced list right there. I can't fit Blackout and Grimlock up here. Sorry about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is an interesting wave. Most of them are decent or good figures. With some have a lot of complaints, some just only a few. If you don't like the Michael Bay movies, you're probably not gonna like this anyway. Or like half of them anyway, so meh. You just been sitting here listening to me because you just like listening to me. So I can't wait for Jazz. I can't wait for Megatron. And I can't wait for, what is his name? Brawl. And whoever else is in Wave 2 besides those people. So until next time, T-Man978 out of here. Thank you for watching. Join the Syndicate Toy Hunters Facebook group. Link in the description. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. You should really click these videos. Click the videos. Click those videos, baby. Click the videos. You really should click those videos. Click that shit. Go ahead and click that shit. If you did, you would like it. Really click that shit. Now I'm freaking gone.